Welcome everyone to the Revive Club. This is my favorite slogan of all. You're gonna hear it multiple times a day, but you're going to be able to learn while you earn. I've been raising capital for years now, and typically when I go to raise capital, I had to make a decision of whether I was going to go with an accredited fund or unaccredited fund. I decided to go with my accredited fund, right? And this has been a great success. This is Bighorn Capital, a company I've been raising money for years now. But here was the problem. There were so many people that come to me that I want to help invest, but they weren't accredited, right? Or maybe they just couldn't meet my minimum investment amount. Maybe they only had 10,000 to invest or 20 or just a smaller amount. My minimum with Bighorn Capital is typically $50,000. And those are for limited partners. Those are for passive investors. But today what I'm going to share with you guys is a way to actually partner and be an active owner with me in a company that we're going to be fixing and flipping and buying, buy and hold real estate. So let's get started. For those of you who do know me, you maybe know my story a little bit, but I want to quickly highlight this. So I started working for Shell back in 2011. I worked there for 11 years while I was building my real estate portfolio. Just like a lot of you guys, I was working a W-2 and hustling, trying to get into real estate. Over those 11 years, that's how I started to slowly build out my vertically integrated company. The first thing I built out was property management. Because at the time I was managing about 10 properties. What I did is I was able to scale this and train virtual assistants to come in and help manage my rental properties. I was managing everything from Houston up in Wyoming and actually up in Dallas, Fort Worth. I was not in my market, right? I was doing it virtually. So I thought, hey, why can I not train virtual assistants to do exactly what I'm doing? Because I already had the contractors and the connections, the boots on the ground. So why not leverage virtual assistants? So that was the first thing I built out. And today we manage with these virtual property managers. I manage 250 units. We're actually, if we finish closing on this deal we have under contract, we will have nearly 400 units under management. Really, really exciting. One of my favorite things I've built. The second thing I built though was a direct to seller company. This is WYO Houses. You guys probably hear me talk about this all the time. This is where we find all of our deals. We do all sorts of marketing, from direct mail, like these little postcards. We actually work with some of you guys watching this today, maybe actually help me with these little letters that we self-address, we draw on them. This is just one of the many forms of marketing we do to find direct to seller leads. But this is our deal flow. This is our pipeline of deals. And I'm going to talk a lot about this today, because these same deals that we're bringing in are deals that you are going to actually come in and partner with me on. Number 3, Revive Construction. You're going to hear Revive a lot today, from the Revive Club to the Revive Method to our construction company, which is called Revive. This is one of my other favorite things I've built, because it helps me have so much more predictability, helps me in terms of budget, in terms of timeline, because I'm able to use my in-house contractors to go do a lot of these jobs. I'm telling you, guys, when you're working in real estate and doing deals, to me, one of the biggest risks is the construction piece. But if you can nail that down and be consistent, it could be a complete game changer. So that's another awesome thing that you're going to be able to get access to with the Revive Club, is we're going to be utilizing our crews to do these fix and flips, to do these remodels on our rentals, to create value on all of our different deals. One other logo I'm sharing on this page is Problems to Profits. One of my favorite things I do every week, every Friday for about 2 hours. I do this with the Sub2 community. I get on there. I'm able to help students work through their problems, right? And help them close deals. This is why this all ties in so well, because I've wanted to be able to work with all these students, right? And be able to do deals with them so they can learn right beside me. I talk all the time about building your track record on that weekly Zoom, Problems to Profits. And I'm going to show you guys how you can actually leverage deals we do together and build your own track record. So I'm really excited. Like this gives me so much energy every Friday working on Problems to Profits. And now we finally have a way to where we can work together and do deals together. Lastly, I had Bighorn Capital Fund on here. As I mentioned, Bighorn Capital Fund is a fund for accredited investors. That is for passive investors, okay? What we're going to be talking about today is not only you don't have to be accredited. We have a smaller minimum, but you are an active partner. Again, very important detail and very important difference that you guys get to know. You guys will be active owners of this business. And there's so many perks to all that. Now let's talk about some of the real problems some of you guys are facing. One of them might be just linear growth, right? You want to grow and you want to scale and you want to achieve financial freedom, but you just have to do it one property at a time. This is how most people do it. This is actually how I did it. I bought my first rental property, and then I actually waited 5 years before I bought my second one. And then I started taking a little bit faster action, but I was stacking things linearly, and I was able to amass my portfolio, but that took me 15 years, right? I don't want it to take you guys 15 years, okay? I want you to be able to have exponential growth. Our goal is to begin to do 20 deals, 20 projects over the next 2 years. I'm hoping we do way more than that, but 20 is what I'm going to initially shoot for. okay? So you guys are going to be able to grow exponentially instead of linearly, okay? Some of you guys might also not have the time, okay? You might be working your W-2 job, or you don't have time to educate yourself, or you don't have time to manage crews, find the deals, put all the funds like I'm doing, put everybody's money together and run a fractional group, right? You guys don't have time to do all that, right? But this opportunity is going to allow you to be able to participate in deals that I'm participating on, that all these other people are going to be participating on. Next thing is isolation. I think a lot of people feel like they're maybe stuck on an island and got to do it all by themselves. Or maybe they just feel isolated because they're part of for example, the sub-2 community. There's so much out there and so much happening and so many people doing so many different things. It can be overwhelming and you can sometimes feel isolated because you don't have somebody right beside you to work alongside, right? Or maybe there's lots of options. You could be partnering with tons of people, but how do you know who to partner with? Well, let's make that simple. Let's all just partner together in Revive Club. We're going to bring a bunch of collective people in here. You're not going to be by yourself. I'm going to be working with you guys. We're going to be working collectively to where when we work together, we can do more. One of my biggest things I've learned, and I read this through a book, okay? The book is called Rigging the Game. It's called taking asymmetric bets. So an asymmetric bet is a bet where you weigh the risk reward, all right? And you're taking a bet to where you've got a lot of less risk and more reward, okay? Typically it's a balancing act of risk versus reward. If you take risk, then you could get higher reward, okay? But we want to take asymmetric bets where we have high probability of success and low risk. One of the ways we're doing that is we're doing multiple deals in this Revive Club. So for example, if you were to go out and buy your first property or your first fix and flip and you've never done it before and you just do one, that is inherently risky. Again, you're doing your first one, or even if you're experienced like me and you've been doing this for years, there are some that don't turn out well. So if you're just looking at a sample set of one, that one could not turn out well. And that could be extremely detrimental. This could set you back years, or it could, for some people, it stops them from ever restarting and they lose all their momentum, okay? We're gonna be doing multiple deals, so we spread risk across multiple deals. So instead of doing one, we're doing 20, which to me is an asymmetric bet. One of the biggest risks you guys might be thinking right now, or the biggest concerns you have, is market volatility, right? There's a lot happening out there in the world with tariffs, high interest rates, everything going on in our world. We're going to talk about what I call the Revive method and how we mitigate this risk in a great way. You guys are going to be blown away how we structure our deals. If you haven't heard of the Revive method, I'm going to tease that here in just a couple minutes. But lastly, I want to talk about this one. Some of you guys probably just lack confidence and experience because you haven't done enough deals. Well, that's okay. You're going to be able to partner with us. You're going to get the experience. You're going to be able to learn through us. And there's so many other benefits I want to get to with you guys. Everyone, I want to bring you guys actual value. I don't want you guys to just go do another investment where you've got no visibility on the underwriting, you get no education, you learn anything, you're just completely hands off. You just feel like you're passive and just writing a check and no one really cares about you other than the fact, can you write a check or not write a check, okay? I want you guys to feel like you're part of something and I want you guys to be learning right alongside us. Guys, this is different than any other offering I've ever seen. I think Fractional does an awesome job of bringing people in to where they can work together. And lastly, who else is helping you build your resume? You're gonna build this resume of 20 plus deals. I'm gonna talk about this multiple times today, how you guys are gonna be able to build your track record right alongside me. Let's actually get into that right now. You guys are going to be able to come in with me on these deals and you be able to invest with proving success. Guys, I have this. Let me show you this right now. Here is a drive. This is a Google sheet I keep in my Google Drive with all of my deals, right? I keep track of very detailed notes of every project we have, from the settlement statements to photos of the property to what we bought it for, what we sold it for, how much our investor put in, how much they made, the duration of the project. I keep track of all these in what I call my track record vault. Okay. Now this is something I can share with you guys if you've never worked with me. So you can do your own due diligence and say, hey, is Casey a guy I want to come and be a part of Investor Club with? Right. And that's why I built it, so people can go do all their own due diligence. There's over 150 projects in here. Okay. Now let's think about this though. 150 projects takes me a long time to build that. This has taken me 15 years to build that. Well, check this out. You guys, in the next 24 months, my goal is that we're going to have at least 20 projects that you're going to be able to build out. I do all this marketing, all this content, this spreadsheet that I just showed you. I do this all the time in my team and my system. This is a huge give I'm going to give to you guys. We're going to build that out for you over the next 2 years. How exciting is that? You're going to have a track record after 2 years. If we hit our goal of doing at least 20 projects, I hope we do more than that. It all depends on how fast we can turn these deals. Okay. But imagine that you've got 20 deals now and you've got that track record starting to build it out. So if you've already done 5 or 10, now you've got 20 more. If you haven't done any, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people listening today, have not done a deal yet, imagine that. Now you've got a track record of 20 deals. You've got that Google Sheet. You've got before and after photos like the one shown here that you can show your future lenders, your future partners, other people you want to work with. You're now going to have a track record because again, you're not this passive investor writing the check. You are an active member. You're going to be voting on each one of these deals. You are a part owner of this company that's going to be doing all these deals. That, to me, guys, if you can see me lighten up, that is what I'm most excited about. So if you guys aren't already excited enough, this is a quick little 2-sentence blurb of what I'm most passionate about the Revive Club. This isn't just investing. It's learning while you earn. You get real exposure, a real track record, and a seat at the table through fractional deals. No guessing, no waiting, just growth. If that doesn't get you guys excited, man, maybe Revive Club isn't for you, but I am absolutely hyped. Let's segue into how we're going to find our deals. As mentioned, I have my company, WYO Houses. My team is set up to find deals off market, okay? These are deals that we're gonna bring in and we're gonna be able to present to the Revive Club to go in and fund so we can move forward and keep our capital at work and get the best return we possibly can. But it all hinges upon, you got to find good deals. And anybody who fundamentally understands real estate, well, not only you got to manage the contractors, which I talked about, but you got to find good deals. We find all our good deals through WYO Houses. But I want to go a little bit deeper on a strategy on how we find the best deals, because we are able to help people in a unique way that very few investors can. This is what we call the Revive method. Guys, where this came from years ago was the market was becoming very volatile, okay? It was right when interest rates came way up. Everyone was really concerned that prices were going to fall off because rates came up, less affordability. And in some markets, you saw a 30% correction. Fortunately, in our market of Wyoming, we've had a very stable market and we haven't seen those crazy swings. But either way, I wanted to hedge my bets, okay? Another thing is when I'm doing a fix and flip, I always want to make sure I have 2 exit strategies, okay? Typically, my second exit strategy is holding the property as a rental. So if I can buy it at a good enough price point that I can, if I can't flip it and sell it, I can turn around and rent it out. That is a really good second plan, right? You always want to have your backup, your parachute, just in case things don't work out on the flip, okay? But what about the higher price point houses? Typically, if you're flipping a house over $500,000 to $1 million, it's going to be difficult to hold that thing and make it cash flow as a long-term hold. Well, I had to figure out a way to mitigate that. And that's where I started doing the Revive method. So we talked about market volatility as well, right? Like the market going up and down. This to me is my favorite way to mitigate risk, okay? Because we buy these Revive method deals often at like 50 cents on the dollar. Because check it out, on a typical wholesale deal, you're typically buying the property at maybe 70% of the value minus the repairs, okay? And we'll do deals like that. But what I love with the Revive method is we actually typically get into the property at 50 cents on the dollar, say, and then we go rehab it. And then when we flip and sell it, we do a profit share with the seller, which is kind of shown with you guys. Just to quickly run through it, we buy the property, we take over the loan, we transfer the deed, which is very, very important. This protects us, okay, to where now we control the property, all right? Then the next part is we do the renovation, as I mentioned. And then once we're done, we put it on the market and then we sell it. And we sell it at top dollar. So now when we sell it, that's when we go split the profits with the seller, okay? This is how we help the seller more because we can pay them more typically than the cash investor who could only give them 70%. Sometimes I can give them maybe 80%, but guess what? I locked in my profit on the front end, okay? Because we're doing the construction, I typically work in a margin into the rehab. And I'm very upfront with my sellers that, hey, this is gonna be the cost. This is my cost to do the deal, but we're using my guys. We can move fast, all right? And we can get this thing done so we can sell it on the back end for you guys. But again, what I wanted to highlight is back to the typical wholesaler that buys at 70% minus repairs. He's locking in that number. He gives that seller all the money up front. All right. So if the market was to correct like 30%, which is very, very unlikely, but if it did, that investor has taken all the risk versus me. I'm typically buying these at 50%, and then I'll pay my seller on the back end, and they get paid back after I pay off the first position loan, and then I pay back my rehab. Okay. Now, this Revive Club, what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be funding that rehab, okay? So you guys see how well protected we are going to be and how we mitigate a ton of the risk. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of how this investment actually works, okay? We are going to be raising $1 million, okay? Total raise is $1 million, all right? But each investment, each share is going to be $10,000. Yes, you heard that right. A minimum of $10,000 to invest. How many investments out there like that have you ever seen where you can get in for $10,000? Guys, I've never created this. As I mentioned, my other deals where I work with accredited investors, the minimum is $50,000. Okay. And that limits and screens out a lot of people. Okay. So you guys can get in for $10,000. Game changer. The term is going to be 24 months. Okay. We're going to be getting in, we're going to be doing these fix and flips, these buy and holds, and we're going to be turning that money as much as we possibly can. Now, as far as distributions, we're going to just do all the distributions at the end of 2 years. I'm being very strategic here because A, I want to take any returns we have, keep it in the Revive Club, our business bank account that we will all own. I want to keep that money in that account so we can keep recycling it. Because the key on this investment is we're going to be making, it's actually be structured as loans, okay? So what will happen is we'll raise the $1 million, all right? Then we will go deploy that $1 million on deals that I'm typically finding and doing. So there'll be a JV agreement with my other company. We can also lend to other people though. If we find a borrower and somebody do a deal that we feel confident with and we feel good with their due diligence, we can lend to that other person. But I wanted to be proactive, and I'm going to show you guys a slide here in a second of all the deals I've already got teed up to where we can deploy our money right away. Because here's the key. In order to hit our 10% return, we have to keep that money deployed. Because think about this. If we raise $1 million and we're making 10% on each deal, if we have that money sitting idle, it's not making any returns. So the key is going to be keeping that money working. And I've got a really cool strategy using business credit cards to help maximize that. One very important thing though, I do not want to skip over, as you see here on the lower right. Guys, I want to make this a no-brainer for you. I'm going to cover all the fractional fees, okay? And those are estimated over 2 years. It's about 25 grand. Typically, I charge a 2% management fee, which on this investment amount would be about $40,000 over 2 years. I'm gonna cover that, okay? I'm gonna cover all the administrative parts. I'm gonna cover all the content that I'm gonna create for you guys, the track record, the before and afters. All that is on me, okay? You guys, I wanna make this a no-brainer for you guys so you guys can get in, make a solid return, but more importantly, I want you guys to learn. I want, after you guys do this deal, after you are part of Revive Club, I want you guys to be able to do your own deals, okay? Or maybe we'll keep partnering, but I want to get you guys set up to where you can do your own deals. As I mentioned, the 0% interest credit card. So check it out. Here's one right here, and I'm going to use this as an example. So this credit card is my business credit card. It has my name on it, and it has my LLC's name, okay? We will be doing the exact same thing. And guys, I've been working with Chase for years on this, and I've been having conversations to make sure that we could offer this. I've never heard of anyone doing this. We've been working through Fractional to work out all the logistics, how this can actually work. This is a game changer that no one is offering, okay? So this credit card, I wanted to give you guys that same opportunity because when I talked to Chase, I asked him, I said, his name's Jeff. I'm like, Jeff, if all my Fractional Club co-owners are on the operating agreement, they're part of the business, is there any reason why they can't all get a business credit card based on their personal credit? He's like, no. He's like, these cards are based on their personal credit, okay? So not everyone will be approved. But the good news is we're going to work with Jeff, and Jeff actually does it's not just like going and filling in an application online. He actually does a DocuSign agreement so he can help our chances of getting approved. And guys, I'm going to walk you through this. That's going to be one of the big values is like people who are interested in doing this, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get the business card. But again, logistically, credit card will be in the business's name. It'll have your name. You will be guaranteeing essentially the loan or the credit card, okay? But they're 0% for 12 months. So I've got a really cool strategy where we'll go in, you'll apply for it, we'll use it for 12 months. And then at the end of 12 months, we'll pay it down. And then you can go apply what I do. This is another cool hack is you'll apply for another card and get another 12 months. So you can have 24 months potentially of interest-free credit cards. And then here's the kicker. So we are going to pay you guys 5% on any credit that we're able to use. Okay. So hypothetically, you put in 10,000 of cash, then you put in 10,000 of a credit card. More likely it's going to be like you put in 30,000 and then you get a credit card approved for 30,000. Okay. You're going to make up to a 10% on your cash. And then we're going to pay an additional 5% on that 30K. So that is how we get all the way up to 15%. Now, important thing I shared here, the credit card balances will be paid off first before any distributions or anything, because we want to make sure that we don't accrue any of this interest, because these are great for the 12 months, but you got to be very strategic and make sure we pay off all the credit cards before the end of 12 months. Guys, I've been doing this game for years to where I always, every year I get a new card and I try to get as high limit as I can. And then I utilize it at 0%, but then I make sure at the end of 12 months, we pay it back and then I recycle and do it again. You guys are going to get to see me do this firsthand. You're going to see, we're going to walk you through it and hold your hand so you can get these credit cards approved. Now note, very important that these cards will be treated like a bank loan, okay? So just like a lot of these deals that we're going to be finding, often I'm going to be using a small bank, all right? Or maybe a private money lender, but typically I'm going to be doing a small bank or taking over loan sub 2. So just like we make payments and interest to that bank or that lender, the same thing will happen on these credit cards. The payments will be handled outside of fractional. So if we use your credit card, and I'll explain the priority here in a second if we use yours or don't use it, but the credit cards we use, that interest, that 5% will be paid to them based on the money that is being deployed on those credit cards, okay? So again, treat it just like a bank. It'll be handled outside of fractional, okay? But also it'll be treated like a bank debt to where we've got to make sure we pay that debt, okay? That debt is going to be paid off again before distributions. That way you guys have a little bit of peace of mind that you're not going to go get this credit card and rack it all up and not be able to pay for it. But why are we using these 0% interest credit cards? Other than it's super cool, you're going to learn how to process, you're going to be able to use this on your future deals, but there's more to it. One of the best part is this is going to give us flexibility to invest more than $1 million. Because when it came to fractional, the only thing that I had a challenge with was, what if we wanted to raise more than $1 million? What if we raise $1 million and we've got projects that we want to fund over $1 million? Well, here's the solution. This will give us available credit because in our documents, we are going to be allowed to raise up to $1 million of business credit. So that means we could lend $1 million in cash, and then we could potentially lend $1 million in credit cards, okay? It's going to be a challenge to work a full $1 million in credit cards, but we're going to try to hit as much as we can. But the point is, now this allows us, when we deploy that $1 million at 10%, now we can go take on more deals and increase our deal flow. That means more deals on your track record, more deals you get to see underwritten, more deals that you get to get before and afters, okay? More deals that you're going to have on your Google sheet, your little track record like mine at the end of the day, okay? Now, the other really cool thing is this is going to help me keep more of your cash deployed. So play the scenario out, okay? We go put $1 million to work on a bunch of loans right away. And I'm going to show you ones I've already got identified so we can hit the ground running in a second. But we go deploy $1 million, okay? Now what we'll do is we'll go, say we've got these business credit cards and we've got 4 more deals that need $200,000 of investment. What we can do is we can leverage these credit cards to go up to 1.2, okay? So now let's say 3 months later, one of the deals that we funded the $1 million with gets paid back. And now we have $100K come back into the business account. When that money comes back, now it's idle until we put it on a new deal, okay? But here's what we're going to do. Rather than having that money sitting idle and not making money, that money will immediately go pay off one of the credit cards because cash is always going to be prioritized over the credit cards to keep it working, okay? It'll pay off that $200K of credit cards I mentioned, okay? And now we keep that 10% working, okay? So this allows us to flex up and down and keep as much of that $1 million working as we possibly can. Pretty cool, guys. You can see I've been thinking about this. I've been planning, I've been journaling and working with the fractional team to make sure we can put together a really cool way to invest, not only with your cash, but with these 0% interest credit cards. Last perk, which might be some of you guys' favorites, is when you open your card and we use it and charge it, guess who gets the points? This isn't going to be something we split up as a group, all right, as a club. If you use your credit card, those are your points. You can use them however you want. You could take your family on vacation, do the cash back, whatever you want to do with it, those are your points. Now, if you guys weren't excited already, I'm going to make this a complete no-brainer and blow your mind of the value you're going to get here, okay? So this is our high tier investor package, okay? So I want to encourage people to make higher investments. So for people who invest over $30,000, you guys are going to get this unbelievable perk, okay? So the first 15 people that sign up with $30,000 or more, you guys are going to get a free VIP ticket to our Revive Summit. You guys can see the image down here in the bottom. It's going to be at Hotel Zaza, July 11th and 12th here in Houston. If you guys haven't heard me talking about this event could be a life changer for you guys. My Mount Everest is to help 100 families achieve financial freedom. But what does that look like? How do I actually help people do it? This is the first step. You come to the Revive Summit. What we're going to do over these 2 days is we're going to look out 10 years in the future. We're going to be really thoughtful, take our time and figure out, what do you actually want with life? Like, what are your goals for your family, right? What are your personal goals? How much money do you want to have? Like, what do you need? And we're going to think 10 years in the future. And then we're going to work backward from there to 5, 3 years, 1 year, and even we're going to plan the next 90 days when you leave this summit. What do you need to do to start moving along the path to financial freedom and that 10-year goal? We're going to build that all out for you so you know exactly what to do over the next 90 days when you leave. So anybody who comes to the Revive Summit is going to get that. But the first 15 are going to get the VIP ticket, which is going to be awesome, guys. You're going to be able to spend a bunch more time with me. We're going to have like a bunch of cool events we're doing. Just like if you guys have ever been to a real estate meetup or a real estate convention, you guys went to Squad Up, you guys know the VIP experience is unbelievable. So that's what I'm going to give to the people, the first 15. So guys, don't wait. Get in there. Make sure you're part of the first 15 so you can get this experience, okay? A couple other perks I don't want to gloss over is the first 15. You guys are also going to get a one-on-one strategy session with me on Zoom, where we can talk about whatever you're working on, and we're going to dive deep and see how I can best help you. Incredible value there, guys. And last but not least, is you guys are going to get access to our Revive network. All right. This is something I'm rolling out. This is going to be a really cool community, right? It's actually our private investor community with deal flow, training, and capital building resources. Now, one last thing before I move on to another last perk that I want to give to everyone. All right. But this is the last kind of big perk for people who do higher investment amounts. You guys are going to be the ones that get prioritized for these credit cards. Because think about this. We can raise up to $1 million in credit lines at 0%. Okay. But we're not going to be able to deploy all that million it's going to be based on deal flow. Okay. The way we're going to prioritize it though, is based on your investment amount. So the higher investment you have, the higher priority you will have to be able to use your card. So if you come in with 100,000, okay, like I am, I'll get to that in a second. I'm actually coming in with 100,000. Okay. But I'm not going to hog all the credit cards. So I'm going to leave that for you. But whoever comes in with the highest one will get priority. Their credit card will be used first. So they're going to have the best opportunity to be able to get up to 15% on this deal. Now, while I really want to encourage and incentivize people to do higher investments, I do still care about you guys that only have $10,000. Okay. Some of you guys might only have that much, and you might be having to figure out how you're actually going to come up with the 10K, but you want to get into this deal. Okay. So for you guys, I want to reward the people who act fast. Okay. So the people who join our Revive Club and go in and do their deposit, which we're going to show you, Kyle's actually going to be showing you guys exactly how to go make your deposit. Okay. But for those of you who join by the end of the month, okay, before June 1st, which is Sunday, you guys got to get in here. All you got to do is do your 2%. So your 2% on $10,000, $200. You could put it on a credit card. Okay. And then this is going to be your entry fee, because I want to make sure we lock you in. Okay. Because anybody who signs up before June 1st, check what you guys get. You guys are still going to get a ticket to the Revive Summit. All right. It's just going to be a general admission, because again, guys, I told you I want to help 100 families achieve financial freedom. We might be able to bring 100 of you just to the Revive Summit and get well on our way to that goal. So if that doesn't excite you guys, man, then maybe the Revive Club is not for you, but you guys are definitely going to be missing out. I wanted to talk about our investing ethos through the Revive Club. Guys, I want this to be a quick start. For all of you guys who've haven't been able to take action, I want to make an easy way for you to get in and start now, okay? Regardless of your experience. I also want to be able to help you guys who have lower investment amounts. Again, I've wanted to work with people who had lesser amounts to invest for years now, and finally Fractional has given me that opportunity. So just because you have a smaller investment amount does not mean you can't invest. Learning rather than receiving. This makes me think about the story about giving a man a fish or teaching a man to fish. We are going to teach you guys how to fish through Revive Club. I want you to learn, not just earn. Lastly, I want you guys to be able to start with success. Typically, like I did it and most other people do it in real estate, they got to start from ground zero and they got to build it. And it's this slow, methodical way to do it, right? I want you guys to be able to start now. Start with success. Start with some easy wins. Build that track record so you guys can ride that momentum and create financial freedom just like I was able to. And the way we do this without having to start from ground zero is joining our vision and our team. This photo right here is our construction team. This is my Revive crew. These are the guys that help put it together. You don't have to go build out your own crew. You don't have to go build out your own property management company. You don't have to go figure out your own direct to seller, right? We're going to do all that. You're coming into Revive Club. You're getting access to all of this. I want you guys to be able to join the team, all right? I want to be able to mentor you. I want to be able to show you the playbook, the properties, and the plan so you can learn while you earn. But do you guys want to see the deals? You want to see the deal flow that we've already teed up so we can actually go deploy this $1 million as soon as we close it out? Check this out. These are the deals I already have in the pipeline. And just as a really good screenshot of you guys so you understand, when we get into this Revive Club, our process is going to be, I'm going to be submitting deals through this Google Sheet with a full underwriting so you can see everything, you can see the due diligence, and that way we can vote and say yes to the right deals. But once again, I don't want to go raise $1 million and then sit around waiting to deploy it. I want to be ready to go. So the way this timing is going to work is once we are fully funded, while Fractional's working on the operating agreement and all the documents, it's typically, I think, about a 2-week process. While that's happening, we are going to overview these deals and make sure everybody's confident, understands it, and vote. That way, as soon as our LLC and funds come in, we start deploying it. Because again, guys, my goal is to hit that 10% return. We will not hit that 10% return if we're sitting idle on our capital. We got to keep it deployed. So that's why I've got these deals already in the pipeline, ready to go. Now, hundreds of people are going to watch this video, whether they watched it live or on YouTube, or I just directly shared the link with you guys. I bet a lot of you are thinking, man, I've been trying to get in real estate for years, but I've either had paralysis analysis or I just didn't have the confidence to get started. All right. For those of you guys, I don't want you to spend another year on the sidelines. Okay. This is the opportunity to get in and get into deals really within the next month. You're going to be doing deals and building your track record is my goal. Another concern you might have is investing with somebody who's not going to show you the process, right? If you're a private money lender on a deal, is a good example. The operator isn't going to show you how they flipped the house, how they found the deal, how they did their rehab budget. They're not going to show you all that, right? This is an opportunity where you're actually going to get to learn it firsthand. Lastly, I don't want any of you guys to continue to stay stuck just saying you're not quite ready, okay? Maybe you're not quite ready because the investment amount was too large and you only have 10,000, or maybe you're not quite ready because you don't fully know how to underwrite, or you don't know how to go find contractors. We've covered so many things today that we do that we're going to bring in and do as a team. Okay, guys, become a part of the Revive Club. Get access to our resources so we can do this all together. Lastly, the worst thing you guys can do is wait. Start building your future now with someone who's already built the road. Last thing here, guys, before I turn it over to Kyle and he shows you exactly how to get signed up for fractional and make your deposit, I want you guys to take just a minute here and picture this. Maybe even close your eyes, okay? I want you to picture 2 years from now, after you've become a part of Revive Club. We're sitting here after 2 years and you're looking back and you're looking at all the experience you got, all the deals you did. You're looking now, you're actually literally opening on your computer, on your Google Drive, a track record Google Sheet with 20 deals that you have done, with before and after pictures, with credibility, all the content you need. You now have that to go do your next deal. Also picture you put your money to work and you got a good, stable return backed by real estate. Lastly, picture your confidence level. You've now not only have the track record to prove it, but inside you now have the confidence. You've done the deals. You've seen the due diligence. You've seen how we run the flips. You've seen the property management. You've seen how we found the deals. You understand this better. You've done actual deals. Now you are well on your way to achieving financial freedom. With that, I want to turn it over to Kyle. He's going to show you guys exactly how to join Fractional, how to join our club, and ultimately how to make your deposit so you can lock in your spot.
While Casey's pulling that up, my name is Kyle Brennan. I'm the Director of Investments here at Fractional. If anybody is in Sub 2, I've been in Sub 2 since 2021. Would love to connect with you there, tell you all about Fractional. So Fractional is a platform that facilitates co-investment, joint ventures. So this is our investment club model. So it's everybody pooling their capital together that is then going to be dispersed out as loans. And Casey, as the leader of this opportunity, will be sourcing those opportunities for the loans to be sent out on. So what does Fractional do and what are you looking at here? So what Casey's showing you on the screen is his Fractional investment club. Basically, everything he just went through in his slides is currently being added to this project, this deck, if you will. Let me go ahead and turn on the deposits. So the minimum investment on this is $10,000. The goal is $1 million. So let's say we do get 99 people into this project. So right now you see that $0. Eventually that will hit $1 million. So what happens is Fractional will create an LLC that all of those investors will become the members and owners of. And that LLC is what is going to lend the funds out on all these different projects. The way an investment club works is you get to vote. So Casey will find these opportunities, bring them to you with all of the underwriting. You as a LLC, as a business, a lending business, will review them on a call or maybe as a recording. And then you get to vote on if your funds should be dispersed. The majority, once the quorum and the threshold are reached, then your loan is sent out. So Fractional will stay on to manage the LLC, will be the neutral platform to facilitate that vote. And then we'll also do all the compliance and taxes of the LLC. We'll do each investor's K1s. And like I mentioned, just be that neutral third party to facilitate the management of the LLC and just manage the members of the LLC. So Casey, go ahead and click that blue button that says join project. So here you'll see the $10,000 minimum. You can also increase that up to 20,000, 30,000, 100,000, and you could even do $1 million like you see there. You do need to verify your identity. So everybody is joining this LLC. You can join as a business entity. You can invest out of a 401k or an SDIRA, but you do need to confirm your personal identity just because you're starting a business with other people. Everybody just wants to make sure you are and they are who they say they are. So Casey won't be able to click this button right now, but on the next screen, well, unless you want to, I wouldn't suggest verifying your identity on the call right now. But On the next screen, you are then asked to put down a 2% deposit. The 2% deposit holds your spot in this deal, in this investment club, and then it commits your funds to that sliding bar over there where you see $0 to $1 million. You pay the 2% fee from a credit card or a bank account, and then it'll commit to that slide bar. So Fractional will start all of our back-end work, the paperwork, the LLC, once that project bar hits the $1 million mark. If anybody has questions about Fractional, if anybody has questions or issues getting their identity verified, please let me know. I'm happy to help. And then Casey will be sharing this link with everybody once the project is up and ready and reflects the opportunity presented tonight, okay? And yeah, that's it from me. Casey, back over to you.
Kyle, thank you so much for sharing all that. That is super helpful for people to actually see what it looks like on the back end. And as Kyle mentioned, if you guys have questions, you can reach out and email Kyle. You can also comment below. My email address and all my information is right here on the screen if you have any questions. Also, if you want to start, just maybe some of you guys don't know me. And if you don't follow me, I encourage you, go follow me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Get to know me, get to know my deals. I'm very transparent in everything I do. I just like showing you guys what it's all about because I want to ultimately, guys, as you know, my goal is to help 100 families achieve financial freedom. And I feel like I can only do that by showing you how I do it, right? I have 4 kids, right? And I love my wife and I have the same, I guess I face the same things you guys do every day. All right. I'm busy, right? We are all in our kids' sports. We are running around trying to keep it all together and it's never perfect. All right. But I just like sharing what life looks like and how I'm utilizing real estate to achieve my financial freedom. So guys, I encourage you to go check that out. But more importantly, follow what Kyle just showed you guys. Go join Fractional, get your deposit in, because again, for those of you who are just going to do the minimum amount, I don't want you to miss out on your free ticket to the Revive Summit. And for those of you who can invest a little bit more, you guys got to jump in right now because there's only 15 spots for those VIP tickets. Last thing I do want to share, if you, for some reason, can't make that July date, we are going to be doing these Revive Summits every 3 months as a plan. So you can actually redeem that ticket on a future event if that one doesn't work. Because I know we're less than 2 months out from that event. So I still want to make sure everybody can attend. So I'm going to wrap it up right there, guys. Take action. Go into Fractional, sign up for the Revive Club, put in your deposit. Let's do this together.